This episode of The Casual is brought to you in part by Squarespace. For all your website needs, Squarespace delivers it in an all-around package to help you build a beautiful, integrated online presence. This is a re-up on building a brand bare bones, physical space, traditional in 2022. I'm Reggie Casual if you didn't know already, and this is class. So, the honest truth, building a brand in 2022 is gonna be tough. I'm sorry to say that. Fewer brands are breaking through because during times of strife, like the one that we're living in, most people tend to put their trust in legacy and respected brands. And you, with your brand new hotness, aren't yet respected, and you damn sure ain't legacy yet. But there is hope. The last time we talked about building a brand, it was all about building a personal profile. And over the last 2 years, what I mentioned came to fruition tenfold. Shall we examine? More and more individuals flocked to YouTube, created podcasts, started online careers, became TikTok superstars, etc. It was crazy. The pandemic may have ravaged the world, but that had a tremendous impact on how we interact in online spaces, which has also had a tremendous impact on the sales of digital goods, but apparently nobody likes talking about that because it now has a name, so I won't talk about it. Many of these newly minted social media stars sold everything from digital lessons, subscriptions, and yes, fashion products. Admittedly, most were merch heavy, but others were very much full-blown collections. Independent business people flourished online despite the conditions we live in, and it continues to be an upswing both in big business and in small independent sectors. Problem is, like all things, it will reach a saturation point. So building a brand today not only requires you build a personal brand, but to be incredibly specific about your niche and the niche community you need to cultivate. Why? The increase in content creators has metastasized to a point where things are beginning to Gaussian blur together. What many in this space have figured out is that they don't need millions of fans and followers. Just a couple thousand is more than enough to sustain a business. Point, niche targeting was big before, but now it's almost required if you're going independent. Unless you go all fast fashion where all you need is an unethical Chinese manufacturer, some Kylie Jenner lookalikes as models, and a TikTok account. Proceed to flood it. Just ask the CEO of Addicted. He did it twice. Now, the bad news is that you may need to be a little bit more active on social media. I mean, you introverts are probably like, oh my God. But the good news is that you can do some of these tactics in more localized and or private spaces. Because in 2022, one of the best ways to slowly build up that personal profile and community is to infiltrate pre-existing communities that are filled with individuals you want to eventually be the backbone of your future brand. Now notice I've said nothing about actual clothes. Why? Because you all can make clothes. There's like so much resources about making clothes, like finding manufacturers, designing, all that. You know that. That's relatively easy compared to actually growing a loyal fan base that will buy your stuff. Yes, the problems start when you try to target an audience and market to said audience, because targeting is going to be extremely important going forward, more important than ever before. Now, for some of you, this is gonna be easy. You got rapper friends, or you've been promoting yourself for a while, so you probably just need the, how do I make the actual clothes bit. Again, clothes are easy, but you guys that do have those rapper friends and you're already famous or relatively, you basically have a running head start. You don't really need my help. However, you do run the danger of going all hype and risk being cookie cutter with no real impact in the industry except being able to go to parties with your famous friends. If that's what you want, have at it. No hate here. Just do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Make that cash, hustle. But we gotta take a time out real quick and give a shout out to our friends at Squarespace. So check this out real quick. In the fashion industry, the competition is fierce and your presentation has to look solid from jump. That's where Squarespace comes in. Beautifully designed templates, easy to use web building tools, and social integration make Squarespace the perfect choice for the budding entrepreneur or even the savvy professional. Plus, by using our link, squarespace.com/thecasual, you could save 10% when you start. So get that business off the ground the right way and use Squarespace today. For those of you who aren't lucky enough to know important people, here's a clear step-by-step to get you started. 1. Learn the nuances of your craft and field. This will become useful once you begin becoming a part of those communities. Your knowledge and insight and skills will give you the ability to answer questions, offer up new stuff that others may want to know about or see. It's what we in the marketing world called adding value. 2. Work on building a network via established communities. Search for the ones that have a concentration of the kind of individuals you would eventually want to sell to. Make a point to engage with them consistently, but, and here's the most important part, add that value that I was talking about. You can do something, show it. You know something, talk about it. Remember, passion plus skill equals purpose, and purpose means you have the ability to be of service. I can't tell you how many people have bought stuff from me personally simply because I taught them something or provided a service. 3, begin curating the communities and individuals you interact with. Listen, curating your followers and fans is an often overlooked form of niche targeting for the people who don't know. But the more specialized your community, the better. Don't believe it? Check the story of Errolson Hugh. He did that years ago. Or maybe we should do a WTH on Errolson Hugh. Whatever, we'll do it so you understand a little bit more. 4, be authentic and share. Make it a point of telling your growing network what you plan to do, showing them your process, and giving them updates on any and everything that has to do with whatever it is that you do. This is what we call priming. If you ever painted, you gotta prime stuff. Yeah, this is what we call it, priming. Basically, whatever you say to that community will stick and they'll wait for the result. Telling your niche group about your brand well before it's in production or even an idea provides the ultimate insider track. These individuals become ground floor participants and feel a part of the brand because they're at the beginning, they're at the ground floor. Just gotta be open about it. That authenticity goes a long way. Just ask Colm Delane, the brand runner of Kid Super. He built the nuts and bolts of his label with a community, not a celeb cosign, not with knowing somebody. He just built a community and designed like crazy. Now he's winning awards, has his own brand. How about that? And 5, don't forget that building a fashion brand today almost runs parallel to building a brand of yourself. People like following people so much now. At least at the beginning do this. Simply having dope clothes is not gonna cut it anymore because dope is subjective, right? For instance, I think Yeezys, the shoe, are terrible, but millions of people love them, so naturally I'm the dumbass, but that's okay because Yeezys still sell. And you shouldn't be mad about me not liking Yeezys because there is still a market for someone like myself and a brand runner who can capitalize on that. I mean, seriously, you could target people who don't like Yeezys or popular sneakers in general. You could do that because note, where most problems start with brand building is when you compare your budding label to bigger brands because you want that massive success immediately. So let me put it plainly, your competition is not the bigger brands. Even if you achieve a modicum of success, you'll still just be a blip on their radar. No, your job is to find the individuals that are open to what you do as a brand and as an individual. So find them by offering value with your skill, knowledge, story, or whatever it is that you do. Grow your network through acute targeting and community infiltration. You can use Discord, Facebook groups, Reddit, anything. In fact, THECASUAL started directly off Reddit. So shout out to Reddit. And before the inevitable, well, did you start a brand then? Questions? Yeah, you're watching the brand right now because at the beginning, we recognize the importance of community building. If I wanted to start a physical brand right now, the likelihood of it selling pretty well is much higher than if there were no community at all. Just because it would have started on YouTube or any other platform for that matter, it's of no consequence. The naysayers could keep naysaying, but guess what? It's not for them, it's for the community. The goal is to build a brand for a receptive audience, not to be glorified and lauded by the fashion industry or the pompous peanut gallery. If you're making a career doing what you love, surrounded by the community you helped build, then you mean something to someone, right? Let's not talk about if that community grows. Then you get that fame and adoration. So voila. So again, it ain't the clothes. I mean, it is the clothes, but it's more so the tactics. Starting a brand in 2022 is finding the right tactics that suit your brand goals and community, most important. And of course, if you have questions, concerns, or anything, put them in the comments. we'll compile them and perhaps put them in a future episode. And again, if you want more info on the fashion business, the future, or you just want to talk fashion, check us out on Patreon for tons of extras. We got like a monthly webinar. We talk about this stuff all the time. But subscribing costs you nothing. So do that, turn on the notification, give a like if you want, but most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info in international fashion, culture, and business from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu, and I will see you guys in a minute.